we're not talking about Zion a ton. We aren't. And with LeBron hurt, with Anthony Davis hurt, with Steph Curry previously hurt this year, with Durant just coming back, he's been out for 2 months, with James Harden out, Kyrie Irving's missed time, you're getting a glimpse of what the NBA will look like after those guys retire. And it's really interesting. So I wanted to do a deep dive. And I know this sounds a little hypocritical because I told people not to do this, but what will sports look like in 5 years? Who will be the face of sports in 5 years? 5 years, man, 5 years, it seems like, I mean, for me, it seems like it doesn't go by very fast, but it's approaching. So it's going to be 2026 is in 5 years from now. I will be 25 years old. And I figured to rightly predict who will be the Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of sports in 5 years. Let's look back to 5 years ago. Who was the face of sports 5 years ago? And I'm going to list 5 names, even though there's 4 faces on Mount Rushmore. The picture I have here, there's space for another face, so we're going to use it. We're going to use the extra space. There's a ledge to the right. The YouTube audience can see it. There's a space to the right. So here's the updated Mount Rushmore of sports. Let's look at 2016. The YouTube audience can see the photos, and I'm going to post them on social media, Twitter, at Jason_Snow_. Check it out. Look at these photos. Look at these mock-ups, all right? Editor Jason went to work yesterday. So the face of sports in 2016, okay? These are the 5 people who embodied sports in 2016, just 5 years ago. LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Tom Brady, Kobe, and Chris Bryant. Those are the 5, okay? So let's go into it. 2016, let's look back. I was 15 years old at the time. 2016, LeBron James, what did he do that year? Just a snapshot, singular year, who embodied sports. Number 1, LeBron. 3-1 comeback. I think that was the height of his career. He was averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Won Cleveland's first championship since 1964. The title snapped a 52-year title drought for Cleveland. And obviously, just so many moments from that series. The block on Steph, down low in the post, and the stare down. The chase down block on Iguodala. Just overall that series, not even just LeBron. I'm just talking about that series, the Kyrie Irving dagger. Just so many memorable moments from that series, and LeBron James spearheaded it. Finals MVP, obviously, and he was the best player in the league. So I don't think that's arguable. LeBron James on the Mount Rushmore of 2016 sports. Let's move on. 2016, Steph Curry. I don't think this one can be debated either. Won 73 games in the regular season, all-time record. First unanimous MVP in NBA history. 30 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds per game. Led the league in scoring. 402 threes hit, which is an NBA record, and led the league in steals. Obviously, was 1 win away from the NBA title, and if they win that, maybe they don't get Durant. But Steph Curry, obviously, I think LeBron was probably the best player in 2016, but maybe even Steph was the face of the league in terms of where the game has gone, the evolution of the game, quote unquote, ruining the game. I know he's made a brand off that, and he was just so influential in how the game has changed. So 2016, 5 years ago, he was the height. I think that was the best season of his career, and he just broke so many records and lit the world on fire. So those two I don't think are arguable. The third one I don't think is arguable either. Tom Brady. Okay, that was the year that he served his 4-game Deflategate suspension, which he appealed. That year he was in the news for like all year long with Deflategate and all that. But in terms of on the field, okay, 14-2 record with the Patriots had a 14-2 record, best record in the league. 28-3 comeback over Atlanta, 28 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he was just in the news. He was just notable, all right? So I don't think that one's very debatable either. And I think, that was the singular year where Tom Brady emerged as the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, you could make an argument for that he was before that year, but that year really cemented it for me. Obviously, coming back from 28-3, 2016 was just a great year for sports, okay? And then we move on to Kobe. And rest in peace, Kobe. Kobe in 2016 was on his last legs. These aren't the best players of 2016. These aren't just like, they're the most influential of 2016. So Kobe wasn't a top 3 player in the NBA, but he was certainly a top 3 influential player. He signified that year. The retirement tour, 60-point finale. Even though the Lakers were buried by like the second week of the season, our second best player was Jordan Clarkson, who was a second round pick. Obviously he's flourishing now, but back then he'd be best as like a 6th man, 8th man on a championship team. And Kobe, he just rocked the sports world. Everyone was giving him farewell. The All-Star game, just so many moments from Kobe throughout that year, and that really signified that season. You have Steph winning the MVP, Cleveland winning the title, and Kobe with the retirement tour. Those were the 3 biggest storylines throughout the NBA. What a great season. And then I chose Chris Bryant as the 5th. And he won the MVP at 24 years old, his second year in the league. They were the eventual champions, hit 2 at 92 with 39 homers, 108 RBIs. Chris Bryant hasn't been the same since. The Cubs obviously broke the 108-year drought since their last championship with an 103-win season. And Chris Bryant obviously is the face I'm using for this, but you can just use the Cubs as a whole. I mean, their infield started the All-Star game. Rizzo at first, Addison Russell at short, Ben Zobrist at second, who won the World Series MVP, and Chris Bryant at third. And Jake Arrieta was just a stud throughout the entire season. And the Cubs were just the story of baseball. So I don't think... And I'm just using team sports, by the way. I should have said this before. Just team sports. I mean, obviously, Ronaldo would be on this list. Lionel Messi would be on this list. Federer. Serena Williams might have been on this list. But I'm just using team sports. The four or 5 American sports. Who were the face? When you think sports in America, what faces do you think of? And I think in 2016, you thought of LeBron, you thought of Steph, you thought of Tom Brady, you thought of Kobe, and you thought of Chris Bryant. Or at least the Cubs. Okay. So 5 years later, today, you think of sports today. What 5 names do you think of? Give you a little time. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're not, maybe close your eyes. Think of sports. Who are the most memorable names? If you're driving, obviously don't close your eyes and don't swerve into oncoming traffic. But 2021, who are the faces of sports? And the YouTube audience can see my list, my Mount Rushmore +1. LeBron James. I don't think this one's very arguable either. Coming off a championship season with the most storied franchise, arguably the most storied franchise. Celtics fans, don't get at me, but the top 2, Lakers, Celtics. Coming off a championship season with a legendary franchise, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Injured at the moment, but I don't think anyone would deny that he's the best player in the league. And obviously, fourth title. Just truly remarkable what LeBron's put together in his 18th season. I think Steph Curry is still on the list. 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. The only player keeping the Warriors afloat at the moment. Marketable, influential, all-star. And by the way, it should be noted, he led all backcourt members in the All-Star game voting by at least 2 million votes. He won it by far. Everyone loves Steph. When you think of faces of the NBA, I think he's still up there, and I think he's one of the faces of all sports. When you think of sports, you think of Steph Curry and the impact and the influence that he's had on the game. 2021, Tom Brady. So already we have 3 of the same from 5 years ago, in my opinion. Championship season last year. Tampa's bringing back all 22 starters, so they're going to be good again. New team, left the Patriots. That's another story. 40 touchdowns, second most in the league, 12 interceptions, still a top 5 quarterback, even though the league and the momentum of running quarterbacks and athletic players at that position is kind of moving against him. LeBron, Steph, Brady. I don't think those are very arguable for today. And then we get to some new guys, right? 2021, who are the next 2 names? Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is the face of the NFL today. He is. Mahomes is going to transform the game. Changes how teams are drafted. I talked about this, was it last episode or the episode before, that teams are now drafting like the Chiefs drafted Mahomes. We're going to stick him behind a starter for a year. We're going to groom him into the system. They're copying how the Chiefs drafted and molded Mahomes, partly into the player that he is today. And the Super Bowl was regarded as like a UFC fight. It was Brady Mahomes. It wasn't Chiefs Bucks. It wasn't Todd Bowles versus Andy Reid. It wasn't Bruce Arians. You know what I mean? Like, it was Brady Mahomes. Who's going to win it? Is it going to affect their legacy? It was very much a one-on-one battle. Mahomes, people in Vegas and a lot of the experts had Mahomes winning the Super Bowl handily without an offensive line. That's how much promise they have in Mahomes. Signed the biggest deal in NFL history, 10 years, $500 million, which I think is a bargain for Mahomes to be the face of your league. I'm telling you, those four, LeBron, Curry, Brady, Mahomes, that's your Mount Rushmore right there. And then to add a fifth, baseball, I'm not forgetting about you, Mookie Betts. Another championship season. Wasn't World Series MVP, but made a convincing case. 2 home runs in the series, a couple of great diving catches throughout the postseason. LA couldn't win the World Series for years and years, like 3 appearances, and they couldn't win until Betts got there. And obviously, legendary franchise, the Dodgers. That really helps too. If he went to Colorado and won, I don't know if it'd hold the same significance as it does with the Dodgers. Second best player in baseball behind Mike Trout, but he's certainly more influential than Trout has ever been. And Mookie Betts, he's Mookie. He's got the brand. He's just marketable. He's influence. He has influence, and his play certainly backs it up. And so those are the 5. YouTube audience, once again, check out the YouTube page. You'll see the picture, or on social media, you'll see it. The 5 faces of American sports, American team sports today. LeBron, Steph Curry, Tom Brady, Mahomes, and Mookie Betts. Now, I started this conversation off with Zion. Where does Zion land? In 5 years, will Zion be on that list? Yep, he will be. He'll be on that list. Yes, he will. He will be on the Mount Rushmore. So let's look 5 years ahead. In 5 years, I'm going to be 25. You're going to be however you are, your age plus 5. We're all going to be a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Here's my prediction, okay? I'm going to predict this. And granted, the draft's coming up. I'm going to do a lot of predictions the next month. I'm gonna get a lot wrong. It's a lot of coin flip by the 4th round, but you know what? I like predicting things, and I like willing things into existence. So I might fall on my face in the mock draft, and I might fall on my face with this. So in 5 years, pull this video up in 5 years and see where I am and see how accurate I was. And there's a couple of honorable mentions, so I'll mention those after. All right, here we go. Let's look at the picture. The first name. And LeBron's going to be gone. Steph's likely going to be gone. Tom Brady, 5 years ago, he was 39, and you would have said that might have been his last season. So I don't really know what the deal with Brady is. He might even be quarterbacking at 49. So your guess is as good as mine in terms of Tom Brady. I don't know what he's going to be doing. But my prediction is he'll be retired at 49. If he's not, good luck to him. Okay, I don't know what to say. But here's my prediction for the Mount Rushmore of sports +1 for 2026. Like I said, if it's totally wrong, come at me in 5 years. All right? 2026, who we got? Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is going to be there. He'll be 30 years old, may rip off a couple more Super Bowls, but will have a Steph Curry effect on how the game is played. And you can argue he's already done that. Offense first. It's like flag football sometimes. Just rip it deep and do the best you can. Fast receivers, mostly offense. Although the Kansas City defense isn't necessarily bad, but that team is headlined by offense, and spread offense. We're going to push it down the field. We're going to be aggressive, and they're going to support him. I mean, we didn't think they had money for Joe Tooney, and here we go. They're supporting him with offensive linemen. Influential, marketable. I think that matters, and I think he is going to. How should I say? He's going to be the baseline for how teams build their squads going forward. A lot of heavy offense. So yeah, I think Mahomes is clearly on the list. Then comes Zion. Zion is going to be he's going to be a face of sports in 2026, 5 years from now. He'll be 25. That woman, Giannis is 26. Zion's going to be 25 in 5 years from now. Do we understand how impressive that is? He's going to be a face of sports, maybe even sooner, but in 2026, he's definitely going to be on there. He's putting up 26 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 62% shooting, 37.5 from 3 at 20. At 20 on a team that's no good. So he's having to do all the heavy lifting. Defensively imposing. Should be in several future dunk contests. And by the way, if we're talking about dunk contests, I don't know how Zion hasn't been in one yet. If the NBA wants to save the dunk contest, they'll put Zion in it. He is the most athletic player in the league. Strong, fast, again, marketable. He has a signature shoe with Jordan coming out. He's 20. He was in high school 2 years ago. Do we like? He's running. I'm at a loss for words. Zion Williamson will be a face of sports in 5 years. Tangent averted. 2026, where will we be? Those are two names, and I don't think either of them are very controversial. Luka Doncic. He's 22 years old now, putting up 28, 8, and 9. He'll be 27 in 5 years, shooting nearly 50% from the field, 37 from 3. Defensively, he needs some work, and Dallas needs to emerge as a perennial winner. But Luka on that list, Luka will transform international ball, European ball, and the NBA. Playmaker. He just has the clutch gene. You can trust him to take a last-second shot. He brought the Mavs to the playoffs for the first time last year since 2016. So I have no doubts that Luka will be on the Mount Rushmore in 2026 of sports. Let's get a little baseball going. Fernando Tatis Jr. will be on the Mount Rushmore of sports in 5 years. He'll be 27 years old. There's a lot of unknown about Fernando Tatis Jr. right now because he's only played 184 games throughout 3 years, and obviously this year's just getting started. But he will spearhead a change in baseball, a cultural change, similar to a Steph Curry, similar to a Patrick Mahomes. He will spearhead a change in baseball from a thinking man's game to anyone's game. And I think that's a very important thing for baseball. Baseball doesn't land the same with everyone. People say it's boring. I think it's a be-there sport more than a TV sport. He was fourth in the MVP voting at 21 years old. He'll bring bat flips, fun, laughing, smile, emotion. He'll bring it all to baseball. And we know San Diego is going to be aggressive because they're the most fun team in the league right now. And if San Diego wins a World Series by having fun, bat flips, it's going to be received a couple different ways. And one of them is going to be a lot of teams are going to follow the same way. They're not going to be afraid of it. So I think Fernando Tatis, how should I say it? He is the most valuable asset for baseball going forward. If they want to change the game, if they want to open the game to so many new doors, they will put their arms around Fernando Tatis Jr. And two of my honorable mentions, I was going to put Juan Soto instead of Tatis, and Juan Soto's going to go down as an all-time great, but culturally, game-wise, emotion, I think that's more important than, I'm not going to downgrade him to just a great hitter, but just the effects of Tatis will spread so far. And I shouldn't leave out Ronald Acuna. I think those three are going to be the face of baseball going forward. But the way Tatis plays, he had to apologize for a bat flip last year. If they win a World Series with bat flips and emotion and celebrating and fist pumps, I think that'll be great for baseball. So I think he's on the list. And then we have, who's our fifth? Who's the guy that we're going to clear a spot for on the Mount Rushmore, on my fake Mount Rushmore? Who's the guy that's going to be, etched into the ledge there? Giannis. Now, Giannis is already 26. I shouldn't be rushing him by saying he's already 26, but he's 26, so in 5 years, he'll be 31 years old. Steph Curry's 33, okay? Giannis is still going to be on top of his game at 31 years old. He's putting up 29, 11, and 6, 56% shooting, 30% from 3. At 26, he's already been a 2-time MVP. I talked about this with Ben Mimaritis on a podcast before. Giannis Antetokounmpo at 26 has more MVP awards, has the same amount of MVP awards as Kobe and Dirk, okay? It's just like as much as Kobe and Kevin Garnett. It's like, what are we... First of all, that doesn't make any sense. But second of all, that just proves how good Giannis is. And he stuffs the stat sheet. Now, the problem is, I don't know if he's going to win a title in 5 years. I don't know if we look in 5 years if he'll be will he be a champion in 5 years? I mean, they locked down Drew Holiday for 4 more years. Chris Middleton's already set in stone. So their core is pretty much set in stone. Now it's on Giannis' shoulders to create a shot and be that guy in late moments that people fear. So, and by the way, he signed a 5-year extension, $228 million supermax. So he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. And, look at that graphic. Mahomes, Zion, Luka, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Giannis. That's going to be the face of sports in 5 years. Now, I don't know if, Trevor Lawrence might be a hit. Justin Fields, there's a ton of guys that might just go into the league now and pop. But I'm talking about, like, in the league right now. There might be high school guys that come in and explode in the first 2 years. We're talking about in sports right now. Where the league's going? How far can I see? I can't see someone who's in college right now. Like, I can't picture a guy in college right now, doing classes, doing pre-calculus. And, if you're a teacher or a professor of mine, you might want to plug your ears or hit pause or skip a couple of seconds ahead. Wasting their time in school. If you're a professional athlete, you are, because you're going to make zillions anyway after. Okay. Sorry, that was really arrogant. But yeah, if you're in school right now, I can't really picture anyone in college right now inevitably going into the league and lighting it up to the point where they're on that level. With these guys, I know. And still, it's kind of a risk. I mean, barring anything drastic, it might be a little extreme. It's a high expectation for anyone to be on that list. But I think look at sports right now. Who will dominate it for 5 years? In 5 years, who will be the face of sports? LeBron will be gone. Steph Curry will be gone. Durant will be gone. And Durant almost made the 2016 list and today because he's just in the news all the time. And you can make an argument he's the best player in the league. I don't think so. He's the second best player in the league. But Durant is just so good. So he was really close to my 2021 list as well as my 2016 because he shattered the earth with the move to Golden State. But yeah, that's my list. Hold me to it. In 5 years, if anyone remembers me, if anyone can track me down in 5 years, those are the guys.